of this offensive point, slow things down, regain their composure.
Wow.
And just on that, I might have jinxed them. Matt Armour with the easy run through D and ejecting deep. And that is too easy.
Experienced hand, and maybe that starts the lack of his presence, his calming presence. Kind of see it in these big moments. We'll see. What you will see, what I noticed with those turnovers, is Austin is more of a. They want to play small ball. They want to play between. So there's more opportunities for poaches. There we see Austin going over the top and scoring. That was a great huck from Reese to Joey, and Elliott followed it up.
Yeah.
If it only goes to the 32.
We've got Austin's D-line out here playing this offensive possession again. And another floaty huck to Mick Walter and Reese Bowman. Matt Bennett poaching out in that open side lane as well. And Mick Walter just jumping right ahead of Chris Mazer. Getting the disc right back for the Soul.
And there's Mr. Endzone himself, Connor DeLuna.
That's my number on the Roughnecks, and one of my very good friends, Griffin Miller, is wearing number 1 over there. And
okay.
So when I left Soul to play on Roughnecks.
Wow.
Oh, and an easy goal for Kevin Marr, just running it down, showing off the wheels. Like I said, after I left Soul, John Cecil took the number 1 when I went to Roughnecks.
You don't see a lot of cuts deep for the Soul right now, and that's allowing people like Carr Marshall to just sink in. And that's how those Ds happen underneath, because if you're not threatening them deep and they don't have to worry, if they're not looking over their shoulder, they're going to end up cutting your throws off underneath.
And with 4 seconds left on the clock, Matt Bennett finds Elliott Moore. They just got a little too frantic, and another unforced turnover.
That finishing throw is just not there today.
Some excellent handler movement in the backfield from Dallas.
Shane Heath versus
Griffin Miller, and Miller goes up.
Griffin Miller with the outstanding catch. He's a slight of body person, but he plays enormous.
Dallas looking a little slow coming down on the pull. I think their confidence is pretty sky high at the moment, just feeling like they're going to keep getting blocks, and there's another one.
Who was that with the D?
Might be Captain Zach Marbach.
Throwing a backhand, so sorry, Matt. You're no Walsh.
Mick Walter with a huge run through D. Now the refs penalizing Roughnecks, so they're going back and forth. So it seems like it's a bit on both sides of the disc. Shot to Kai Marshall. Balsaraj coming through with a huge block in the end zone.
This comes in.
Which is a great contrast with Eric Brodbeck being more of a silent but deadly type.
Yeah, he doesn't say much. That's Matt Jackson with the disc being fouled by Joey.
Oh, and Mick Walter just reaching through for another D.
Third D for Mick.
Just
like I said, there's
throw to Mazer, just getting a little close to him, just reaching out for an easy block. Continue to possess the disc. They will allow some time for an advantage, just to make sure that they aren't going to penalize the team that gets fouled.
And you'll notice what they're doing it if they are calling the advantage, they'll put their offhand up. Balsaraj trying to make up for it on Hunter Taylor, and Hunter Taylor with a laser beam hammer,
striking quick to Chris Larberg doing his signature.
You have one of the flattest flicks I've ever seen. It's beautiful, and so I really feel like you could help him after the game.
Clock expiring, shot goes up, and Soul comes down with it. A huge grab to the youngster Jeremy Keish.
Welcome back from Indiana, buddy. Gotcha. And I think for the Soul, it's more Mick Walter, I suppose. So that's his 4th D of the night, which is incredible. If the Soul can keep converting red zone opportunities, and there we are, going the other way. So you know it's hot out there. It's really hard to grip and rip these flicks.
And a rare huck from Thomas Slack to Gabe Hernandez. Usually we see that connection the other way around. And Gabe Hernandez throwing the high release lefty to Thomas Slack, which is typically Thomas's throw. Mark especially.
You don't get any flow.
Paul Starkle just rushing the disc a little too much. An outside into the break side, a bidding Valsaraj, but not quite working out.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It looked like he held onto it with a flick grip and pulled it straight to the ground. So it dove immediately. And you see Hunter Taylor, who doesn't hesitate with those hammers. I really like that. I really like not even giving the defender a time to think, because every time I've cut up to a hammer, it's because I got to look at the thrower.
Perhaps having a set number of throws before they get out of a defensive poachy set.
And pretty.
And a huge ejection from Mazer all the way across the field. Soul players in the area, and a huge block.
Get some great throws.
Contrary to that, Eric Brodbeck starting with the disc, not lighting it up on the stats tonight, but really taking care of the disc and keeping the machine moving smoothly. Unfortunately, after his continuation throw, there's another turnover from the Soul.
That was a inside flick that should never have been thrown. There just wasn't enough room. Is that Hunter Taylor?
And here's Hunter Taylor throwing the big hammer, like I said, and that's the 3rd one and the longest of the night.
That was an easy 50 yards in the air. That's pretty cool. So he's not only manly looking, he's actually very manly.
That's right. Matt Bennett throwing a lofty huck up to Eric Brodbeck, making the huge grab in the end zone with 2. Plenty of room to work with. So the object to being successful is making sure that your receivers just don't have to work hard if they're open. Big huck from Mazer to Gabe Hernandez, ejecting from the handler spot. And a big layup from Gabe, getting the arms and legs out, really showing off. And the Roughnecks are pumped up.
Saw that building up from the get-go, so Gabe dished it off. Joey tried to keep with him.
Now Roughnecks just going into that regular vertical stack flow now. Kaplan Marr just finding easy room. Trading points regardless. Brodbeck taking a shot for Swiatek. And a huge grab from Evan Swiatek.
The smallest man on the field who plays the biggest. He's absolutely a fantastic player.
And Soul just really loving these lane-to-lane hucks on this home field.
So, and there's a horrible miscommunication. There's Mick.
And Mick Walter with another huge block. On Michael Mathis, Gabe Hernandez just throwing that big outside in flick around that double team, thinking he had all the time in the world. And a great peel-off block from Thomas Slack.
Yeah, that was just bad. I don't know, just lazy cutting.
And just a huge missed opportunity for the Soul. That was the block they needed. They had so much momentum.
For sure. I think they won the last, it's the big race where they, oh boy.
Wow, and a huge blading flick, almost going out of bounds. Paul Starkle.
Coming up, so congratulations to him and his beautiful wife, fiance.
Right. And a big, easy throw to Kevin Richardson. Mick Walter giving chase.
Just more possession. A little closer if they do turn.
It's not really about yards at this point. It's about needing these blocks.
Dalton.
Mick Walter in the zone. A huge block from Mick. Disc on the sideline. And a break from Reese Bowman.
There's only so much Mick can do. Well, he can do that. If Mick Walter is on the field, a D is imminent.
One of the most incredible defensive performances I have ever seen in an AUDL game. Chris Mazer staying quite composed. 10 seconds on the clock. One completion is going to seal it.
That should do it. Hunter Taylor's probably going to throw a hammer just for solidarity.
And that's it. A 1-point game in Dallas's favor. Seoul doing seemingly everything they could to try and get back in it. They were chasing the entire game. And even with the heroics of Mick Walter, it just wasn't quite enough. But wow, what a performance.
What a great game.